Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear students, thank you very much for joining me today's session. My name is Hameed Asghar, and on behalf of Institute of Freelancing, I welcome you all. Yesterday, we have been discussing the blending options, and I just thought to give you another recap first. And agar kisi ka if there is any confusion as far as creativity is concerned, so you can ask me at any time. So, without wasting time, let me get started on how can you become the expert in the Photoshop with the blending options. I'm pretty sure you will be able to view my screens, and the options for the blending are two. First is you click on any layers and right click, and the first option is the blending options. First is this. The second is the layer blending options, and layer blending option is the ये हैं उसके डिफरेंट मोड्स ब्लेंडिंग मोड्स करेक्ट सो दैट्स हाउ वी प्रोसीड सो आज के सेशन में व्हाट वी विल डू इज कि हम दोनों चीज़ों को इंशाल्लाह वी विल कंबाइन टुगेदर कुछ इसमें प्रीवियस ऐड हो जाएगा प्रीवियस क्लास का रिकैप एंड देन वी विल प्रोसीड टू द नेक्स्ट लेवल्स सो विदाउट वेस्टिंग टाइम व्हाट वी हैव डन yesterday without wasting time let me for the time being मैं इसको करता हूँ इनविजिबल इस स्लाइड को एंड इस स्लाइड के ऊपर लेट मी पेस्ट अप any of the color let me pick up any color let's suppose we pick up the bright red color we place on layer number 1 alt backspace and the other option is paint bucket से pick करें and यहाँ पे drop कर दें the first option is this now let me create another layer create a new layer and we can have another very interesting color on we will apply another color on this let's suppose we go with the very dark this blue color okay so let me pick this color press ok now the color has been selected we have already created a new layer alt plus backspace so here we are experimenting with two layers only correct yesterday we goes with multiple options हमने को 3 4 5 6 बना दी and choice is yours अगर आप multiple करना चाहते हैं तब अगर आप first किसी एक या दो के साथ create करना चाहते हैं choice is yours ठीक है जी so what we have done yesterday कि हमने एक layer which was actually जो above होगी उसको हमने पहले उसकी opacity को किया down means जो भी color इस time पे आपका ये blue color आ रहा है ओके डार्क ब्लू कलर को अगर हम रिड्यूस कर दें इसकी ओपेसिटी को 50% सो आई गिव यू द ऑप्शन ओपेसिटी पे क्लिक करें विद द माउस एंड ड्रैग इट टू 50% ओके एंड हैव अ लुक एट दिस एग्जैक्ट 50% के लिए या ओ ओ let me manually paste 50% and press enter now you will be able to understand the combination of two colors in this class my students from the fashion design class my students from the interior design class and my students from the graphic design class you all can now understand that किस तरीके से आप colors के combination से you create different type of colors so that is the first thing we discuss and further what you can do is कि इसको भी 50% करने के बाद what you can do is लेकिन the only problem in this case would be as there is nothing as such in the bottom so ये reduce होके 50% पे that means कि it is visible to 50% this is visible to 50% so probably आपके पास actual color नहीं आएगा so the bottom has to be 100% so let me pick up 0 and that means 100% the shortcut key 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 10 means 100% and 1 means 10% and accordingly you can switch in between while clicking on any of the layers let's suppose layer number 2 पे मैं click करता हूँ right now it is 50% 50% को मैं अब अगर if I add on more into this color let's suppose if I want to reduce add on from 50% to 75 I just have to place 7 and 5 and have a look at this the 75% that has been opacity has been set to 75% manually using your keyboards okay so that's how we proceed now this is 75% this is 100% लेकिन combining जो 25 का difference है that is coming up with this color okay and if I reduce it from 75 to 25% just press 25 and have a look at this the actual color blue was this one लेकिन जैसे ही इसमें 25% we added the blue color, the new color came up with this option. So yesterday we discussed this thing. Then उसके बाद for the interesting blending options हमने किसी भी layer which should not be at the bottom, जो ऊपर वाली layer है उसको हमने pick किया and we came up this blending modes first. So blending modes पे we came up with the dissolve option, and arrow key say you come up with the darken option, and then multiply and color burn, and there are multiple options. लेकिन the real impact इसका you can feel at that time when you place any kind of some picture into inside these layers. So let me bring up any of the pictures file. Say you go to the place and place say okay, let me bring out from the library say default Windows pictures, and we pick up this color, and here we go. Okay, so उसके बाद what we have done is कि हमने इसको थोड़ा सा stretch करके we make it full screen, या जो हमारा आर्ट बोर्ड है उसके ऊपर हमने full screen इसको place किया. Then I told you the options. One is press enter, double click, or press click means okay, and that will give the Photoshop confirmation that place this image on this layer. अब इंटरेस्टिंग ऑप्शंस स्टार्ट होती हैं ब्लेंडिंग मोड्स की. The first is this. Let's suppose now we came up with the dissolve option. It doesn't gives you any different feeling. But as soon as you came up with different options like darken applied on this, and you came up with interesting new options like multiply, and then color burn, and then linear burn. And have a look at this. अब आप interesting options में when you go and you just add more blue color into this, as you can evaluate, you can see this is 25%. So manually मैं जाके इसको 75% कर देता हूँ. Sorry, click here and 75% क्यों नहीं हो रहा. Anyway, let me bring it manually from here to 75%. And now have a look at this. The new color which came up was the very darker option. क्योंकि the reason blue color is a darker option. Blue color को हम कम करेंगे तो हमारी layers या हमारा graphics that would be a little bit more visible. So the further options what you can apply is कि हमने 100% के बजाय इसको let's make it to 50% and this. And now have a look at this. 50% के ऊपर what would be the outcome of this picture? Though this layer is above, so linear burn के बजाय dark color, and have a look at this, lighten, and then उसके बाद screen mode and color dodge mode, and then linear dodge and lighter color, and the interesting things which pop out one by one. So that's how we applied different type of layer modes, blending modes, sorry, to any of the layer, and which came up with so interesting, different, beautiful. Look at this. I never thought this would come something like this. Okay, so in between this, now what you can do is कि आप और इसकी graphics को enhance करने के लिए what you can do is you can place any sort of text on it, or to make it more and more interesting. So how can you do it? First, the background color or the graphics color right now is bluish. So the recommended color on the above for the text would be, I assume that would be white. So how can you make it white? First is this option. इसको swap कर दें, like the blue would come downward, background color, and the white would come as foreground color. So click here, and the shortcut key is for, sorry, here is another option for the default, that is D. लेकिन so you just selected the white color, click here for the text option, and here we go. So just initializing the type tool, and here we go. लेकिन as by default the selected color was yellow, so you can choose the color of white from here also. मैंने जैसे ही इसके ऊपर click किया, here is the new color which is by default created by Photoshop itself, that it is quite obvious that the text has to be on the new layer. Okay, so let me start here. Institute, enter of enter and freelancing. ओके, एंड वी प्रेस ओके। एंड एज यू नो, जैसे ही आप इसको सिलेक्ट करेंगे विद द मूव टूल and show transform control, you can bring it into the center of the table, you can bring it anywhere. And what you can do is from here you can make it as much bigger as much you want, for example something like this. Okay, now the text has been placed. What the interesting options further with the blending options, what are those? Now you right click on this layer and go to this blending modes के बजाय blending options. That was the blending modes of the layers. This is the blending options. Now you can do so many interesting things. For example, let me bring this artwork to somewhere on, drag it here and bring it somewhere. And मैंने intentionally इसको, I just made this a little bit smaller so that के हमारे पास blending options की जगह हमारे पास जो window open होगी, that should be visible. Okay, now with the layers which are open right now, the artboard, the artwork which you are creating is right now in front of you, and now the blending options, layer styles, and you can create the first and foremost the drop shadow. Just click on this and have a look at this, the beautiful drop shadow that has been popped up. So just click on this layer drop shadow and it will give you multiple options what you can do. You can change the angle, right? You can change the distance, for example थोड़ा सा यूं ये यूं जो भी आप करना चाहें. The spread is like the background shadow would be spread out, and we just do not want that level, and the size is something like this, and we just press OK, and that's it. That's how we create the drop shadows. And for example, मैं जल्दी से जाके इसको करता हूँ. Okay, first let me give you multiple options. First is, as you can see, the changes inside the layers कि जैसे ही आपने कोई effect उसके ऊपर apply किया, automatically the layer panel that has been opened up, widen up, which will actually gives you the indication कि इस layer के ऊपर, which is of the text layer, इसके ऊपर एक effect apply हुआ है, and that is the drop shadow. So what you can do is कि आप यहीं से इसको let's make it invisible, and let's make it visible, and double click and drop shadow की option again आपके सामने open up. Correct. I just don't want to go further into the details of drop shadow because it is very basic, very interesting, and very basic level of thing जो कि आपको बताने की जरूरत नहीं है, ठीक है जी. So blending mode इसके अंदर भी options available हैं. The shadow which has came out, it has a different blending options, again वही वाली. For example आप darken कर देते हैं, darken के बजाय let me pick up color burn. The reason shadow is always into the dark color, हमेशा shadow is always into the the black color, that never comes up with color options. Like for example, human shadow can never be into the red, it would always be a kind of black या कुछ इस तरह वाली options के साथ, ठीक है ना. So that's how you came up with different options, for example luminosity, and you can apply different kind of different type of things here. And further, the quality of the shadow would be determined from these contours. The first has been selected. If you just go to this conic shape, have a look at this, what sort of changes it is coming up. It is just a matter of applying different things and coming up with so many different options, right? So आप just एक पे click करते जाएं and you will find out different options. Let me go and press, let's suppose, let me cancel it, so that the default option which was actually there, that has been opened up. And अब आपके पास experiment के लिए बहुत सारी options आपके सामने आ गई. Now what you can do is, instead of going for this red, what you can do is कि red के बजाय रिफ्लेक्ट ऑफ द टेक्स्ट. ओके, बहुत सारी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ें जो कि स्टूडेंट्स एक्चुअली इस टाइम पे पूछना चाहेंगे, लेकिन आई जस्ट नॉट वांट कि हम जल्दी से बेसिक चीज़ों को छोड़ें और उनकी तरफ भाग रहे हैं, राइट. सो लेट मी डबल क्लिक ऑन इफेक्ट्स एंड हेयर वी कम। एंड अब आप इसके बजाय ड्रॉप शेडो के बजाय आउटर ग्लो पे क्लिक करें एंड हैव अ लुक एट दिस। इसके आउटसाइड पे द ग्लो हैज बीन एडेड। Added means drop shadow is always there, and you just uncheck drop shadow and have a look at this outer glow। लेकिन जैसे ही आप ड्रॉप शेडो को दोबारा चेक करेंगे मींस जो ऑलरेडी आपने अप्लाई किया था दैट हैज बीन applied on the layer। Further you can go towards the pattern apply करना है इसके ऊपर, so just click on this pattern and here we go। different type of patterns जो कि आप अप्लाई कर सकते हैं किसी भी टेक्स्ट के ऊपर, राइट। ये इंशाल्लाह पैटर्न कैसे बनाने हैं, हाउ कैन यू क्रिएट योर ओन पैटर्न, दैट इज समथिंग I'll give you a complete lecture on this in the coming days inshallah, ठीक है जी। so that's how actually we apply different patterns। so let's suppose मैं जल्दी से पैटर्न को भी अनचेक कर देता हूँ and outer glow को भी I am not interested to go for this। लेकिन the interesting is the gradient overlay। gradient overlay starts from white to black because the gradient color scheme that has been selected from here। so आप इसके बजाय let me pick up any multicolor and have a look at this। as the background is blue तो उसके ऊपर ये blue that would not be visible। so how can you do it, आप इसके बजाय कोई ऐसा select कर लें। Amazing। Just click on this and have a look at this। कितनी इंटरेस्टिंग नई से नई ऑप्शंस आपके सामने बनना शुरू हो जाएंगी। इट्स जस्ट अ मैटर ऑफ प्रैक्टिस, राइट। सो मैं जल्दी से यहाँ पे इसको करूंगा पॉज, बल्कि लेट मी पिक अप दी दिस वन ऑप्शन इज मोर विजिबल बिकॉज इट इज कंट्रास्ट टू द बैकग्राउंड। ओके एंड इसके बजाय ग्रेडियंट ओवरले के बजाय व्हाट यू कैन डू इज यू कैन स्टैंडर्ड कलर ओवरले यू कैन अप्लाई, right। Instead of this let me pick up any of the other color, let's suppose red, and we press ok and have a look at this। या इसके बजाय what you can do is कि आप कोई और color which is of yellow, which is of green, देखें मैं जैसे ही इसके ऊपर आता जा रहा हूँ the color automatically इसके ऊपर place होता जा रहा है। so you just need to press ok and that's it। further satin overlay के बजाय let me go to this satin inner glow b is which is a very interesting option। and the more interesting is the stroke जिसको हम usually use करते हैं। if you remember into the graphic design की initial class में we discuss about the basic elements of the design। okay, Pfizer Jamshed, we will come to this options. Okay, how can you apply your own color schemes? Right now, we are not going towards that side. That's a very very basic thing. But अगर हम उस तरफ चल पड़े तो we will miss out this layer style की जो options हैं इसको we will we I just do not want कि हम इसको छोड़कर or we go towards the different option। but rest assured Pfizer Jamshed is the one। she will remind me in before weekend कि हम उसमें ये सारी की सारी चीज़ें we will discuss। हम हर तरह का कलर, हर तरह की वैरायटी, ये सारी की सारी चीज़ें we will apply, nothing is to be worried। okay जी। so stroke की options, what does this contain? This contains the outside of this text there is a line। okay, this is actually giving you the stroke। तो stroke का size what you can create, you can change this stroke from 1 to 10 or even to the extreme level। जितना ज़्यादा आप करते जाएंगे ऑटोमेटिकली उसके आउटसाइड वो बढ़ता जाएगा stroke size। okay, so usually what we do is कि we go towards just to 2 to 3 pixels की point देते हैं just to make this text more visible, nothing more than that। okay, further you can change the opacity के अगर ये text की size थोड़ा सा ज़्यादा होगा, let's suppose 8। so interesting thing what we can do is कि हम opacity को down करके we create something more and more engaging and more interesting new things, right। so that's it my dear students, that was the texture you can apply, the contours you can apply। yes, the very interesting thing is the bevel and emboss। click here on bevel and emboss, the overall text would be now embossed। okay, so what you can do is different bevel and emboss के styles हैं। right now the applied is inner bevel, and instead of inner bevel you can select outer bevel and have a look at this। कितनी खूबसूरत किस्म की ये ऑप्शंस आपके सामने बनना शुरू हो जाती हैं, एंड देयर आर प्लेंटी ऑफ ऑप्शंस। आप इसको थोड़ा सा डिटेल में ये देखें, थोड़ा सा इसको आप फर्दर सॉफ्टन और थोड़ा सा इसको करते जाएं, एंड इट विल गिव यू मोर एंड मोर इंटरेस्टिंग नई से नई ऑप्शंस आपके सामने बनती जाएंगी। right? So you just need to apply okay, and अब उसके बाद after applying this text on this layer, let me bring it to somewhere in the center. अब आप जाके different experiments आप कर सकते हैं. For example, ये जो the layer which we came up as in flowers, अब आप divide के बजाय hue, and hue के बजाय अब आप इसको करें luminosity, and have a look at this. ऐसी ऐसी अमेजिंग चीजें आपके सामने बनना शुरू हो जाएंगी कि आपको खुद यकीन नहीं आएगा. सो माय डियर स्टूडेंट्स, that was the very basic layers mode. These were the layer modes. एंड किसी भी लेयर के ऊपर राइट क्लिक करने के बाद लेयर की स्टाइल्स, लेयर की ऑप्शंस पे जाके ब्लेंडिंग ऑप्शंस, दैट इज समथिंग वी हैव स्टडी टुडे. इंशाल्लाह आने वाले कुछ लेक्चर्स में हम बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग नई से नई चीजें और इससे रिलेटेड भी डिस्कस करते रहेंगे. सो सी यू नेक्स्ट टाइम इंशाल्लाह. बाय बाय.